What's going on, everybody? So this is gonna be a little bit different video than I normally shoot, but this is actually an update to a video I shot about 6 months ago about these Nick's tactical boots. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about how they've been holding up. I've actually had some people ask me, so I figured I'd shoot a video to kind of talk about how these boots are doing and what I think about them. So as you can see, I'm wearing the Urban Drifters today. These are my go-to boots, though. These are what I normally wear. I wear these every day to work. I've worn these pretty much every day for the past 6 months. So let's talk a little bit about how these have held up. I'll talk about some of the things I like, and then just a few little nitpicks I have that are real minor gripes, but they're nothing's perfect. So as far as these boots are concerned, like I said, I've worn these pretty much every day for the past 6 months. And as you can see, they're other than, I've got some, I don't know if you can see that scar there on the toe, but other than that, now in full disclosure, these were cleaned about a week ago and oiled. They're normally filthy, but as you can see, they're holding up pretty well. I mean, there's hardly any blemishes or scuffs or anything on them other than that one nick there in the toe. There's really not much else. Now these get worn at a shop, in an automotive shop, 5 days a week, every day. They get beat on pretty good. I'm not easy on them. I don't treat them, I don't baby them or anything. They get beat up pretty good. They're always filthy, covered in oil and stuff. And these things have held up phenomenally well. I did put, I think you probably can't see down in there because it's dark, but I did put the Spenco inserts in there. I had the leather insoles in there and I liked them, but after a while when they got broken in, they started to get a little hard where my feet had kind of formed the leather insole to my foot, and so I took those out and put these Spencos in, and that made quite a bit of difference. Now I will say that the rubber insole in these, the actual rubber sole that everything's stitched to, has actually formed to my foot now, much like the leather insoles do in these, these traditional ones that have the leather. It's done the same thing. It took longer, but it does make them super comfortable. You can see that the leather is still in really good shape. It's softened up quite a bit, which is good. It's still pretty stiff, but they're extremely, extremely comfortable. All in all, these are probably the best boots I've ever owned, and I'm going to say that these are better than these. Right? These boots are awesome, and these boots definitely look better. But from a comfort standpoint, from a usability standpoint, these are just better boots in my opinion. They're more comfortable. They're much more flexible. As far as having to wear boots every day are concerned, I like these better. Right? Like I said, the leather's held up phenomenally well. All the hooks and eyes and everything held up well. You can see the black has worn off the hooks a little bit, but I mean, that's not a big deal. But yeah, all in all, these things have held up remarkably well, considering how much I beat on them. And I wear these everywhere. I don't just wear these to work. I wear these in the woods. These things have been caked in mud and soaked and you name it. And I mean, like I said, I cleaned them up. I didn't even use any soap or anything. I just used a brush and water and cleaned the garbage off of them and then let them dry and oiled them up a week ago. And I mean, they're in phenomenally good shape still. So I have the feeling these things will last for a long, 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 long time. So yeah, I have absolutely no regrets. They're expensive, but they're worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. If you're looking at buying a pair of these things, by all means, do it. They're very, very comfortable. They're very well built. No complaints at all, really, other than a few minor things which we'll talk about here in a second. All the stitching is holding up well. If you look around, hopefully that'll focus. All the stitching's holding up well, both around where the sole is stitched on both boots, as well as all the stitching everywhere else on the boot. No loose threads or anything. I didn't expect there to be, but they're holding up very, very well. So I have absolutely no complaints in that department. As far as the few minor things that I would say about these boots, there are really 3 things, and none of them are a big deal. They're just things to consider. So the first thing is this is the silicone impregnated leather. This is the what do they call it, the weather shield. And this does not wear like their normal leather does. It doesn't get quite the same creasing and patina and everything. You know, it's a little bit, I don't know. It looks a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't, you know, if you look at these boots and you look at what these things look like, and then you look at these boots, you'll see this leather just doesn't wear in as nice. But I don't really care. I mean, I didn't buy these to look pretty. I bought these to take abuse, and they've done the job and then some. So from an abuse standpoint, this leather is awesome. It just doesn't look quite as nice. I mean, it gets some, you know, some wrinkles in it and some character, but not like the other leathers do. So that's the one thing. The second thing is, because of the type of leather this is, these Kilties like to ride down. It's kind of slippery, and these Kilties are heavy. I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you look on both boots, you can see how far down the Kilties actually ride normally. You'll see there's like a, let me get a stick and point at it so my finger's not in the way. You'll see there's like a half moon sort of shape there and there. That's where the Kilties kind of slide down to. Now what I'm thinking about doing is pulling them up where I want them so that they're about like that. And then on this last set of eyes, just putting some slits in the Kiltie and running the laces through it to hold the Kilties up a little higher. Not a huge deal. That's just something to consider, is those Kilties do like to work their way down, okay? And then the last thing, and this is something I knew going into it, is because of the way these soles are constructed. So you've got your upper layer, and then you've got this sort of foam wedge, and then you've got this outer layer. And the outer layer is not super thick, and you can see right here on the heel, where I walk, where it wears, that's worn a little bit thin. So, I mean, eventually that's going to wear down to that foam. So, I mean, these will probably have to be resoled more quickly than, say, the boots on my feet would. I mean, these things, if you look at the heels on these, you probably can't see it on camera, but I mean, there's a mile of rubber left on these things. You know, they don't wear hardly at all. These are softer. And there's not as much of that hard rubber on there, so they're going to wear out quicker. I knew that going into this. I knew that those Sierra soles were not going to last as long. I did it. It's a compromise because I wanted something that was more comfortable on my feet on concrete all day, and it's infinitely better. I would much rather wear these things all day on concrete than these things. Right? These are brutal after a while on concrete. That Vibram 100 or Vibram 100 sole, they're very hard, so they wear really well, but they're not very comfortable, at least not on concrete. These things, these are much more comfortable. They've got that sort of foam squishy insole there, or midsole. Those are very comfortable. But because of that, it is wearing a little faster. So that is something you'll have to consider, is these will end up having to be resoled more quickly. Now the upside is, unlike these boots where you've got all the stitching, you turn so the sun is, so you can actually see. You know, these have got all the stitching and all the screws and all the nails and the heels and everything, right? Resoling these is a nightmare. You've got to take all those screws out, cut all the stitching, unnail the heels. These, peel the old sole off, glue a new one on, you're good to go. So from that aspect, these will be a lot easier to resole. In fact, I'll probably resole these myself. We'll see. These I'm definitely not resoling myself. These will go back to Nick's. These I can probably resole myself. We'll see. But yeah, all in all, like I said, I have, other than those couple little complaints, these things are phenomenal boots. This is the best pair of boots I've ever owned. And I've owned lots and lots of boots over the years. And I can honestly say that these are super comfortable. They're super well built. They're super durable. They look good. I really have no complaints. Like I said, other than those few minor gripes, which are just little nitpicks because nothing's perfect. Aside from that, man, these things are awesome boots. I have absolutely no regrets buying them. And if you're looking at buying a pair of these, by all means, do it. Any of these Nick's boots that have this new construction with the rubber instead of the leather, I think if you need boots that are more flexible and more comfortable, these are definitely going to fit the bill. Are they as traditional? No. Are they more comfortable and, in my opinion, more practical? 100%, I think they are. You know, if you're a more traditionalist, something like what I've got on my feet is probably better. But if you're going to be in these things all day working, especially if you're working on hard surfaces, right? I mean, if you're outside here on dirt, these more traditional ones aren't so bad. But if you're working on anything hard packed dirt, rock, concrete, you know, I'm on concrete floors all day, these are definitely the way to go, I think. So, Like I said, I just wanted to shoot a quick update. It's been about 6 months with these boots, and like I said, I mean, they look practically new still, and like I said, I am not easy on these boots at all. So if you're looking at buying a pair of these, just bite the bullet and do it. They're expensive, but they're worth every single penny. So with that being said, I really appreciate everybody watching this one. I'll probably do an update on these in another 6 months. We'll see how they hold up after a year. And I'll probably shoot a couple other boot videos. I have quite a few pairs of boots, and we'll talk about pros and cons of some of the different boots I have and some of the different styles and brands and whatnot. But at any rate, like I said, 6 months update on the NIX Tactical boots. 100%, these things are awesome. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.